Okay, so hi and welcome to Valeria. I like your emoji there. Andres, you're also online. Julian, Fernando. So welcome guys online first. You're all well? I have no voice to hear you guys. You guys are all well online? So Valeria, Andres, Fernando, Julian. Okay, I don't know, maybe sound problem. Hey, David, and welcome to everyone that's here. Hey, yes. So we have been learning so much just in the past lesson about the past simple, being able to speak in the past, and what actions need to put an ed or an ied to the ending of that action, and how to pronounce it, because it's very important. Not just we know that we need to put an ed to the action word to make it in the past, but how do we pronounce it correctly? So that's what we did all last lessons, and we looked at currency. Remember the money, being able to talk about what was on the note, and we looked at time expressions. So not just saying, I went for a walk, but now we know when. We can say, yesterday I went for a walk. So a lot of interesting things that we've been able to do, talk about the past, and we're going to continue. So we're sticking just to the past tense, the past simple. So it's the first basic one of being able to make a sentence, to say what you did yesterday, last night, last week, last year. So very simple. So we're going to continue. We're on 6B, which is page 72. Hey, Tyler. So I can see, let's have a look. I can see that there's a cave in this image, and it's like someone is climbing it. And this is like a woman, maybe near the cave, and she's making a fire. A fire. Maybe she's heating up some food, a meal or something. But that's what I can see in the photos. Two photos. It looks like someone climbing the cave, and the second one, a woman by a fire, maybe near the same caves. Okay, but let's listen to the audio and answer some questions. So we're going to listen and answer questions 1 to 6 about the audio. Okay, so here we go.
Track 60, Unit 6B. The Mustang region is in the Himalayan mountains of northern Nepal, and it's famous for its ancient caves. Humans made the caves about 1,000 years ago, and many people lived in them until the 15th century, before they built houses and moved to towns. The caves were warm and dry, and they were safe because of their location. Even today, you can find people who live in the caves. This woman, Yandun Vista, was born in a cave, and she grew up here with her family. Life was difficult. They didn't have water, so she went to the river every day and brought water up the mountain. In the end, her family moved to town, but she says, I like living in a cave better.
Okay, let's listen one more time, answering questions 1 to 6.
Track 60, Unit 6B. The Mustang region is in the Himalayan mountains of northern Nepal, and it's famous for its ancient caves. Humans made the caves about 1,000 years ago, and many people lived in them until the 15th century, before they built houses and moved to towns. The caves were warm and dry, and they were safe because of their location. Even today, you can find people who live in the caves. This woman, Yandun Vista, was born in a cave, and she grew up here with her family. Life was difficult. They didn't have water in the cave, so she went to the river every day and brought water up the mountain. In the end, her family moved to the town, but she says, "I like living in a cave better."
Okay, interesting. So we've learned that these are ancient caves from very, very long time ago. And we know a little bit about this woman and why she lives in a cage and how was life when she used to live in a cage. So let's look at the questions. And we'll take some notes. So the question says, the caves are in the Mustang region of northern Nepal. So that's a country near India, I think, Nepal. So these caves are in the Mustang region, like region just means area, in the northern, so the top part of Nepal. Humans made the caves about 1,000 years ago. So you can put the number about or the wording 1,000. So remember, when you have 1,000, you don't need to say 1,000, you say 1,000. So about 1,000 years ago. So amazing. Humans made these caves 1,000 years ago. Many people lived in them until the 15th. So remember, we looked at the centuries and we looked at how do we know what year is in the 15th century? So that's from 1400 to 1499. So that year, now we're in 2023, but imagine the year 1400 or 1400 to 1499. So many people lived in them up to this century, and then they lived somewhere else. So until means to this time, and then that's it. They didn't live there anymore. The caves were warm and dry, so no water was going in them. It was warm in there from the wind, from the storm, and it was dry. So if it rained, you're not going to get wet. But you remember, the woman has to go down and collect the water, she said. Yuda Bista she was born. She was born. So remember the past verb to be, was or were, and depending on our subject. And why do we use it? When we talk about where people were born, what their age are, what they look like, adjectives, what their job is. So that's when we use was or were. So she was born in a cave, using the verb to be. In the end, her family moved to the town, but she says, "I like living in a cave better." Yes, and I like the pronunciation there, better. She likes it better. Yeah. Okay, interesting experience. That imagine to live in a cave. Yeah. Okay, so we have the past simple. You remember last lesson we looked at the past simple regular where we add the ed. Now we're going to look at the irregular, the ones that break the rules, and the negatives. So we have, let's see some rules maybe first. I have to go back to here. from last lesson. You remember we said the regular, we just add the ed, but just be careful. If the verb ends in an e, then you add just the d. If it ends in a y, then you add ied. If it ends in an l, then you double the l and add ed. That's regular. That's the normal rule. But you have some verbs, some action words which are regular. That means they break the rule. And these verbs are verbs like went, made, saw, taught, wrote, bought, took. So that's what it tells us in our book. It says that many common verbs have irregular forms in the past. These do not end in an ed. Like go is went, bring is brought, build is built, do is did, have is had, and make is made. So I grew up in a cave. I didn't live in a house. To make a negative, remember we looked at it last lesson, you add the didn't, but you don't add the ed to the verb. So it's like saying, I didn't speak to someone yesterday. I didn't see that movie last night. I didn't grow up in Colombia. Okay, so that's the irregular. So pretty simple. We've got the regular, and then we've got the irregular. So that's the rule for the regular. And then the irregular has its own rule. It's very hard to give you a rule. It's just every action is different. You've just got to remember it. Okay, so you got your regular verbs and your irregular. Regular, add an ed, but irregular, they're just all different. I can't tell you a rule. You just got to remember them. Okay, so regular, because it means it follows a rule. Okay, so let's look at the grammar box. Do all verbs in the past simple end in ed? What do you reckon? Do all past action verbs end in ed in the past? No. Pardon? Only regular verbs. Yeah, so no, not all of them, only regular verbs. That's this rule. So no, only regular verbs. So the answer is no. So remember, if you have a question that says do, you have to answer yes or no first, same as was. A question with was. You have to answer yes or no first. So does the verb change in the third person, he, she, it? Does it change? No, I played, he played, she played, it played, we played, they played. No, does not change. All the subjects have the same verb with its verb ending. So does the verb change? No. What auxiliary verb do you use for negative sentences? Remember, the auxiliary verb is the helper verb. It's not the main verb. It's a helper verb that must go with the main verb. And here it looks like, they look like two verbs because I know did is a verb or do. So is the auxiliary verb, what is the auxiliary verb? Didn't. Yeah, exactly, didn't. Yep, didn't. So to make the negative, didn't verb. So those answers were no, no, didn't. So I hope you understand those rules. That's only for the past simple. We've got past continuous, we've got past perfect. This is just for the past simple. Okay, number 5, complete these sentences with the past simple. Some of them are regular and some of them are irregular, so be careful. Let's do them together. I'll leave this up as the rules that are here. So we've got make. That's the infinitive. I haven't changed it. I haven't said who's making who's doing that action. The verb is to make. But now I want to put the subject humans, and in the past, made. Humans made the caves about 1,000 years ago. So this word here, made. But if I'm talking about now, I make many things. Tomorrow I will make something. But in the past, I made a gift for you, whatever. Number 2, many people lived. So remember pronunciation, it's one sound, lived. So many people lived in them until the 15th century. So it takes the ED, it ends in an E, so all we need to do is just add a D. So it should be lived, like that. Okay, so lived. They lived, they built. Now that's a hard one because the present or the infinitive or the future is with a D, but the past is with a T. So you just have to remember it. Built. They built houses and moved. Yep, so that verb ends in an E, so all we need to do is just add a D, moved. Yandu Vista was. So remember, we're going to use the verb to be, the infinitive, when we talk about where someone was born, what their job is, what their age is, and a description about them we use to be. So Yandu Vista was born in a cave. She grew up. Yep, she grew up with her family. So another action word is she was raised. So if you want, you could say was raised here with her family. She grew up, she was raised. So as a child, that's where she spent her child life. That's what it means. She grew up. So for example, you know, a lot of you grew up in Brazil. A lot of you grew up in Colombia. I grew up in Australia. That means as a kid, my life is spent in Australia. Grew up. Yep, grew up. No, grow up is the like infinitive, but yeah, grow. Yeah, grow and grew. Grew up. Number 6, they, so you got to make it a negative. It's got not. We want the negative. They didn't have. Yep, they didn't have. So it's a negative. They didn't have water in the cave. She went. It's an irregular. So remember, it's not goed, it's went. It breaks the rule. It has its own past verb, which is very different. So if you don't add an ed, it's just went. You have to learn it. So she went to the river every day and brought water up the mountain. Good. So these are all actions that happen in the past and they finish. They're not happening now. Because humans are not making caves 1,000 years ago. They made caves. That action has finished. They're not making caves now. Let's practice with some irregular now. So we've got be, the verb to be. Remember, it's was or were. We've got get, which is got in the past. We've got go, which is went. We've got grow up, which is grew up. We have, which is had, and leave, which is left. So if you remembered what I said, let's put them all into these sentences. But we'll do them together. So number one, I was born. So I was born in 1939. So was. I was born in 1939. I grew up in a big city with my brother and 2 sisters. Grew up. Number 3, I went to my first school when I was 4 years old. That's the past of go. I went. Number 4, I got a bicycle from my parents when I was 7. So we can see 2 actions there, and you must follow it, that it's all in the past. You can't say when I am 7. I got a bicycle from my parents when I was 7. Remember, we use the verb to be to talk about age. We have it here. Age, location, job, adjective, where someone was born. So that's when we use to be. And number 5, I had a job on the weekends. Number 6, I left home when I was 16. Okay, let's rewrite these sentences, but make them true for you. So for example, if I'm doing for me, I think this was someone's example. I was born in 1985. That's my answer. So make the same make the same sentences, but add in information which is true for you. So you have to write which year you were born in. Same sentence, don't change it. I was born in. Here you might need to change it. I lived in a small city. Oh, sorry, I grew up. Maybe I grew up in a small town. I grew up in the mountains. I grew up in the capital city. I grew up in a little village. So you can change it a little bit. Maybe you have 4 brothers, with my 4 brothers. So change the sentences that makes it true for you, but try and keep to the same idea, same information, but just information that's true for you. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. I will come back. Okay, so the first one, Gustavo, tell us when you were born. Full sentence.
I was born in 1985.
Same to me, 1985. Okay, so I was born in 1985. So I hope you all have your own year there and you know how to say it. 19, whatever the number is, 86, 1990, 1991, whatever. Next one, tell me where you grew up, David. I grew Okay, so you grew up in a small city with your sister? Ah, you have to tell me. What's yours? For the second one, what's your answer? No, no, number two. Number two. I grew up. Where did you grow up? What's your answer? Where did you grow up? Ah, well, just tell me, where did you grow up? In a small city, big city, small village? Okay, so I grew up in a big city with, what did you have? Sisters, brother? How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I don't have brother.
Ah, no sister? Okay, so I grew up in a big city. You can just say with my family. Yeah. Okay, so I grew up in a big city with my family. Now, if your answer, you could put whatever. Did anyone grow up in a small village? Did someone write a small village? Sorry? Small village? Like a small town? No? So you all grew up in a big city? Yes? Tell me. Yes?
Small.
Okay. So what was your answer? I grew up in a small village
Yeah.
with
I grew up in a small yeah, a small
city with
my two brothers.
okay, with two brothers.
Brothers.
Yeah, okay, with my two brothers. Yep, good. Okay, the third one. It's getting a little bit harder. Ronan, what did you have?
I went to my school when I was 5 years old. I know those.
Yes, I went to my first school when I was 5 years old. Yep, same to me as well. When I was 5 years old. Did anyone have a different answer to 4 or 5 years old? Did someone go when they were 6? A lot more older or younger? 3?
6 years old.
You were 6?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. You were 6. Ah, okay. Interesting. So your answer, 6. Okay. The next one, Italo. You can make it a negative if it's not true. I didn't get a bike, or you can have from someone else, from my dad. What's your answer?
Yeah.
So I'll make one for me. I got a bicycle from my dad when I was, I think, 6. What's your answer?
Yeah.
Hey, Fernando.
So my
Mm.
I was 6.
Oh, okay, same to me. So I like your answer. I got a bicycle from my parents when I was 6. You could say from your mum, from your uncle, from your dad, whatever's true for you. Make sure if you didn't, never got a bike when you were a kid, because life was hard, you weren't lucky. You could say, I didn't get a bicycle when I was young from my parents.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't get a bicycle. Yeah. So anyone have that story in their life? They didn't get a bicycle when they were young? Yes. Yes.
I got
Ah,
my grandpa.
but I got one from my grandparents. Nice. But I got one from my grandparents. Nice. So I'm gonna, when you were 7, yeah. So I didn't get a bike from my parents, but I got one from my grandparents when I was 7. Nice answer. So I hope you wrote an answer for yourself. So even if it's not from your parents, maybe you could say, but I got one for my birthday, whatever's true for you. And you can add an age, when I was 7. Or if you didn't get one at all, I didn't get a bike from my parents, full stop. So online, you can write your answers in the chat box so I can check them. Fernando, Valeria, Andres, Julian. Okay, tell me if you had a job or not, Wilda. Oh, nice. I didn't have an old mobile phone. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
I did have a weekend job.
Yes. Yeah, nice. I didn't have a weekend job. Yes. That's a nice way to change it. I didn't have a weekend job. Yep. Good. Did anyone have a job? And they wrote, I had a weekend job when I was 12 or something. Did anyone have a weekend job? No? So all negative. I didn't have a weekend job. Or you got some answer similar? And when did you leave home? I think we did Edward. When did you leave home, Clayton? Mm-hmm. Yep. When I was, okay, when I was 19, was, not have. Yeah, so I left home when I was 19. Remember, we use the verb to be to talk about our age, not have. Because I know in Spanish, and I guess Portuguese, it's have. In English, we say was. Okay, good. Let's go to the next part. We are looking at so now we are looking at the past simple questions. So how do we make a question now? Well, you start with the verb. We know that. Anytime you make a question, you start with the verb or you use the 6W, what, when, why, where, who, or you use the H, how, and then you add the was or were, and then the subject and the verb. So you've got 2 rules, you just have to memorize them. So let's have a look. What did you do on the weekend? So we're using one of the 6Ws. What did? So that's the rule number 3. So what did subject you do on the weekend? I met some friends. That's an affirmative. That's just a simple subject verb giving information. I met some friends. Remember, met comes from the verb meet.
Si te está pidiendo ayuda ahí, pues,
Claro, uy, no.
sí, madre, porque los gastos del...
Abierto tu micrófono.
Where did you go? So where did you go? Using one of, that's the 3rd rule. Where did you go? Where did you go yesterday? Where did you go last week? Where did you go on the weekend? We went to a museum. Remember from go? It's in the past. We went to a museum. Did you go to the cinema? That's using the 4th rule. Sorry, I forgot there's 4 rules, not 2. So did you go to the cinema? And remember, when you have a question with did or do, you say yes or no first. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. And then you can talk more. But that's how you must answer first. So that's how we make questions in the past. It's very simple. You've got 4 different ways to make them. So how do you know which one to use? Well, we know we use was or were when we talk about where someone was born, how old someone was, or their location. So were you born in Brazil? That's why I would use the first one. Because you remember, talk about age, location, where someone was born, what they look like. I can use the what, where, why, when, which, who, how, lots of reasons. When, I want to know about a time. When was when was he born? To know about time. Where? Location. Where was your first job? Why? I want to know the reason. Why was he
Born.
Who was he? I'll keep thinking born now, but yeah. So that's how we make questions. Mostly with what and where. Okay, and then the did you do something yesterday? I want to know if you did this action, if it happened. Did you see him yesterday? Did you speak to him? Did you send me an email? Did you book the appointment? That's why I use number 4, because I want to know if you did this action. So very simple to know which one to use. But let's look. So look at the grammar box. What auxiliary form do you use in the past simple question? Did. Because remember, it's the helper verb, not the main verb. Auxiliary form do you use in the past simple question? Did. Did. Let's look at number 9. There's a conversation with did or didn't. Didn't is the negative. So I'll give you 2. We'll do it together, actually. So A will be, let's go with Edward, and B will be David.
Hi. How was your weekend? It was great, thank you.
What did you do? So we're only using did or didn't. You've got 2 options, did or didn't. So what did you do?
What did you do? I went to Birmingham.
I went to Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Birmingham.
So it's like saying I went to Glenelg, I went to Unley, I went to the city, wherever. Yeah.
Oh, did you go shopping?
Yes, it's a question. We start with the verb. Did you go shopping?
Oh, I didn't.
Negative, didn't.
All right. What did you see there?
Yeah, so right. It's a little bit, the tone of the voice has to be different. Like it's like, oh, right. Ah, cool.
All right.
Ah, cool. It's like saying, ah, nice. Ah, cool. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What did you see there?
Yes, what did you see there? Century? Yeah, so lives. So an exhibition about the lives of people. You got to raise your voice when there's a full stop for that next word. So it was fantastic. Was. Yeah.
Did go with anyone?
Did you go with anyone? So that's a question starting.
Did you go with anyone?
Mhm.
I didn't go to the museum with anyone, but I met one old friend.
But I met an yes, thank you, Diego. It's an N sound at the end. But I met an old friend. Yeah, exactly. So I didn't, we're using a negative. No, I didn't go to the museum with anyone, but, so we have to lift up the but because it's showing, I'm changing what I said before. I said, no, I didn't go, but, so we have to lift up our voice for but I met an old friend afterwards for lunch. Okay, so there you go. Lots of did and didn't. Remember, didn't is the negative, and to ask a question, we use did. Okay, so let's do a speaking part. Imagine, I think you need to follow your textbook, so I'll put you into groups. We've got time. And just turn to page 153 if you're a student A and 156 if you're a student B. And we'll come back and have a look at that. Okay, so we're going to jump. I hope you've all done number 10. Number 11, you had to make short sentences, what you did yesterday. So I have an example here. Yesterday, I went to the markets. So remember, I used my time expression in the beginning before the subject. So yesterday, last night, last year, but because it says what you did yesterday, so I put yesterday. So, okay, we're all up to number 11. Edward, what sentence do you have? Just one sentence for number 11.
Yesterday I went
To my job?
to my job.
Yeah, perfect. Yesterday I went to my job. Yesterday I worked. Would be a simple, yeah. But yeah, good. Jessica, what sentence do you have what you did yesterday? Yesterday I went to the movies. Yesterday I went shopping. Yesterday I went to the beach. Perfect. One more. Silvio, do you have a sentence? Yesterday what did you do? You can say get up, go, meet. I got up at 12. I got up at 11. Yeah? Not yet? Okay, so David and Wilda, do you have a sentence for number 11? Yesterday
Yesterday bring
I went to play soccer. Nice. Yesterday I went to play soccer. Or yesterday I played soccer. Good. And yeah, do you have one, Wilda? I voted. I brought some Tim Tams. Yes, good. Did you like them? Yes. So yesterday I brought some Tim Tams for the first time. For the first time. It's the first time you buy. You buy before. Okay. So yesterday I bought some Tim Tams. Okay, good. Number 12, we had to ask and answer questions about your day. Now, I made a little short conversation here, but just use it as an example. So to ask someone about their weekend, we can say, what did you do on the weekend? You can also say, what did you get up to on the weekend? Now, remember, that might be a little hard for you because it's got these little short words, so you need to pronounce them all clearly. So what did you get up to on the weekend is another way to ask that question. Or did you have a good weekend? So that's in the present simple, asking someone about their weekend. What did you do on the weekend? What did you get up to on the weekend? Did you have a good weekend? Did you enjoy the weekend? Did you do much on the weekend? Did you do much on the weekend is another way. Did you have a good weekend? Did you have a good weekend? Did you do anything on the weekend is another one. Did you do anything on the weekend? Or did you do anything on the weekend? So again, with these questions, did, you must say yes or no first. Yes, I did. I went to the beach. That's what Jessica said. Did you do much on the weekend? Yes, I did. I did so much. So answer it first, and then you can talk about what you did. Did you have a good weekend? Yes, I did have a good weekend. If it's a negative, no, I didn't have a good weekend. And with these what, then you give an answer. So it's only the what questions where you talk about the answer, but in the did, say yes or no first. So what did you do on the weekend? I went to the beach, I went to the gym, I went to see a friend, and I went to my grandma's house. What did you get up to on the weekend? I did a lot of homework. I read a book. So with what questions, you talk about what you did, but with the did, you answer yes or no first. So here's a bit of a conversation. A will be Gustavo, and B will be Diego. Okay, so this is just an example of my one up here.
Yeah, repeat this.
No, this one. Yep.
Did you do anything interesting on the weekend? Yes, I did. I went to the theater. What did you do? I saw a musical by cat. I got there by car. You walk with anyone? Yes, with my friends. Did you do anything today? No.
Okay, good. Lots of questions. Did you see how it was asking about, did you do anything interesting on the weekend? I changed it now to say, yes, I did. I went to the movies. Ah, what did you see? So you could have that expression. Ah, which is like you're interested. Ah, what did you see? I saw the latest movie by Tom Cruise, for example. Or you could say the name. Yes?
The last one and this one. Not to do anything else, and no, I didn't.
Did you do anything else? No. You can say no or no, I didn't. Yeah, you've got two ways to respond. So no or no, I didn't. Or in Australia, we say nah. So for nah, no, we say nah, I didn't. Nah,
No.
no. That's very good. You're picking up the Australian accent very well. So you could see lots of questions. Did you answer yes or no? When he asked the questions with, so there's lots of did. I think he said where. Yeah, what did you see? So when it's a what question, you give the answer. I saw, subject, verb. How did you get there? I got there by car. Did you go with anyone? Yes, with my friend. Where, just make another one really quickly. Where did you park? I don't know. Just to give you a where question, I parked near I parked in their car parking. I parked in the car park. Just to show you an example of where. So only when you have a did question, you answer yes or no. But the other ones, where, how, what, you say subject, verb. Okay, so good. So that was taking us to the end of 6B. So we learned talking about the past, but with the irregular, and being able to not just talk about the past with the irregular, but also asking questions in the past. So that's where we're up to. So we'll come back, we'll have a break, we'll come back. And when we come back, we're looking at more past sentences that we're going to be reading an article together. So to practice our pronunciation and a bit of speaking. Okay, so we'll do that all when we come back. So online. Okay, we are back. So we are looking at 6C, life logging. Life logging is when you've probably heard the terms blogging. That's the common term we say now, a blog, when you read a blog. What is that? A blog is like when you go on the internet and you read, someone has written something about their experience. So traveling is a very big thing that people blog about. So blog just means to write. And I'll show you some blog posts about travel, for example. Okay, this one is called Nomadic Mat, Traveling Mat. So this is a blog. It's just, a blog is like a website where someone is sharing their experience about anything. Could be anything. So this is someone about traveling. You can see they put a lot of information. That's what a blog is. So we're looking at life logging. But let's read what we need to do. So we've got some sentences first, I think before we read the article. So look at the sentences about what someone did last week and complete them with the verbs. So remember, we are looking in the past simple. We are using only the past simple. So number one, which word would go in here? I something my diary. Yeah, I wrote in. So I wrote in my diary. It comes from the verb to write. It's the past. It's an irregular past. Yes. Number two, I took. Yeah, I took photos and shared them with friends. Let's go to number three, I wore. So that means to put on something. So I wore a fitness tracker. Yes, it's an irregular. I wore a fitness tracker and went running. It comes from the verb to wear. It's the past irregular. Number four, I posted a video with my phone or from my phone. I posted a video. And number five, I made comments on social media. So that's what blogging or life logging is all about. It's about sharing your experience, writing in your diary, or nowadays writing online for people to read about your experience, sharing photos, uploading photos, posting photos, posting comments, writing comments. That's what that's all about. So do you write in your diary? Does anyone have a diary? A personal diary? No, but do you write, maybe not in a book, but do you write notes online somewhere? On social media? Okay, you share like your feelings and what's happening in your life. You what, sorry? The caption? Yes. Yes. Yes, exactly. So now it's very common to post a photo on Instagram, Facebook. I don't know if there's anything popular like that. And then to write in the comment section, well, in the caption description about what happened. Yeah, that's how we do it these days. So we don't really write diaries anymore, but we use media like Facebook or Instagram to share what's happening in our lives with a photo now. Okay, that's what, so for number two, you can write an answer like that. So no, I don't write in a diary, but I do upload my photos onto Instagram or Facebook and write something about it. Okay, now we're going to read the article and match the paragraphs to the topic. So let's read the article on the next page. Okay, life logging. That's the title. And we have a subtitle, A 21st Century Diary. So the title tells us what's it about, life logging, but the subtitle maybe it explains to us what does that word mean. So that's what we have. So let's start reading. So I can see 21st century. Remember, we know the years of the 21st century. We are in the 21st century now. Okay, so in the 17th century, Samuel Pepys, I think, wrote the most famous diary in the English language. He began the diary in 1660 and finished it in 1669. Pepys wrote about important events in the history of England and about the lives of famous people. His diary also described the everyday lives of the people in London and his family. So this diary is very useful for historians in the 21st century. Today, some people still write diaries. In a recent survey of 500 people, 23% said they wrote their diary regularly. 1 in 5 men and 1 in 4 women. This included over 35% of people aged between 18 and 34. People aged between 35 and 64 don't often have a diary, probably because they are busy with careers and family life. But 35% of people over 65 also write a diary. In the 21st century, a lot of people want to share their lives and they record the things they do with digital technology. This is called life logging. Gordon Bell became famous as life logger in 2000. He wore a camera around his neck, and the camera automatically took a picture every 30 seconds. In this way, Bell made a digital diary of his life. Nowadays, everyone is a life logger. We take photos of what we had for breakfast. Yeah, maybe I said that little too far. Of photos of what we had for breakfast. Post comments on social media about the news, and make videos of events in our lives. We wear fitness trackers so we know how much exercise we did and where we went. So just as today, historians read the diary of Samuel Pepys and learn about life 300 years ago. Maybe historians in the future will look at our photos, videos, and comments and learn about our lives in the 21st century. Okay, so that's what we have, life logging. Now we know what it means, and it's still coming. It's still, as I said, people do blogging now, which is just an online diary. That's really what it is. It's an online diary where we can now read other people's diaries. So it's like sharing your diary. It's called a blog. So you can read, you can write. If you want, anyone can open up a website and make a blog. It's just like sharing your diary with the world. So that's what we're talking about. So let's go back to some questions about the article that we read. So which paragraph do you think tells us the first life logger? I think paragraph 3, the big one in the middle, because that tells us about the Gordon Bell became the first life logger. The question is the first life logger. I can see that information in this paragraph. So you need to put like an A next to this paragraph. So can you see how the information is here in this paragraph? Gordon Bell.
Paragraph 2. This is called lifelogging.
It's paragraph, well, it's 3 because this is the first one. This is the second. This is the third paragraph. Yeah. So maybe this one is the introduction. This is body paragraph 1. And this is body paragraph 2, but it's a third paragraph. So I would put an A here because that's where the information is. The Diary of Samuel Pepys. I think in the introduction here, B. So 1, the first one, that tells us about the Diary of Samuel Pepys. People who write a diary today, I think this paragraph, number 2, because it tells us, you know, people still write diaries today. 23% said they write always. 1 in 5 men and 1 in 4 women. So this one is C. And life logging today and in the future, maybe the last paragraph, because it tells us how important it is. And for the future, people will look at our photos and learn about our lives in our time. So D is this last paragraph here. So all we're doing is seeing which paragraph. Remember, a paragraph is a group of sentences, 5, 6, 7, 8 sentences. So that's D. So this one is B, this one is C, this one is A, and this one is D. Okay, so now I'm going to give you 5 minutes to read the article again. Now that you know you've read it one time with me, now read it again. You can work with your partner next to you, it doesn't matter. And answer question 4. Some questions about the article. So I'll give you 5 minutes. We'll come back and have a look at the answers. So let's have a look. When did Samuel Pepys write in his diary? When? We don't need, from 1660 to 1669. Or if you want, you can write, he wrote in his diary from 1660 to 1669. What did he write about? Important events. That means like important things that happened in his life, important moments, important events. What percentage of people write in a diary today? Nowadays just means now, currently, presently, now. What percent? 23%. That's not a lot, because why? Like Diego, like me, we're posting photos on social media and writing there. We're not using a book. Or what? All day, yeah. All day is on Instagram. Who writes a diary more, men or women? Women. Because 1 in 5 men, that means 25%, but 1 in 4 women means 1 in 5 men means 20%, but 1 in 4 women means 25%. So women write more than men in a diary. Who writes? Yeah, more. Who was the first lifelogger? Gordon Bell. Yeah. How often did his camera take a photograph? Every 30 seconds. Remember, he put it around his neck, and every 30 seconds, it automatically took a photo. So he'd walk, do whatever, and it would take a photo of what he was doing. How many people record and share their lives now? Sorry. How often? Yep. So how do people record and share their lives now? By social media, by a blog, online blog. You can write by social media or an online blog. Remember the blog, what I showed you online? An internet web page, a blog. So that's how people share their lives. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, or the online internet. In the future, why will people look at our photos, videos, and comments? Why? To learn about our lives in the 21st century. Okay, we have this verb, write. We know to write, but let's look at how it can be used. We can write about history. We can write a diary. We can write to your grandparents or write down a word. So we can have a verb, an action like write, and then a preposition which comes after it. Remember, prepositions are like on, by, about. So other examples are to give up. So that's the verb and that's the preposition, to give up. That means I didn't continue, I gave up. To walk by is different than the action to walk. So to walk by means I passed something, not just I was walking, but oh, I walked by your old house the other day. Another example, to write about or to write to is different than the action to write. It's, I write about many things. I wrote to my grandmother. So yeah, that's when we have an action and it's connected to a preposition, and you must keep them together. So subject plus verb plus preposition. So some examples are like, I gave up on my homework because it was too hard. I wrote about my life experiences. So you can see that's the verb that has two words. It's one action, but it has two words. One is a verb and one is a preposition. That's with the preposition. You have these ones that have an article. So for example, it has a, an, or the, and then the noun. So the action is connected to an article and to a noun. So you must put the subject first and then the verb, article, noun. And examples are like, see the snow. I saw the snow on my holidays, or to play the instrument. It's different to just say I play soccer. So this is saying I play the instrument. He wrote an email. That's the example here. Verb plus article plus noun. It's different to I wrote. I wrote to your boss is a different sentence to I wrote an email to your boss or to my boss. So I wrote an email to my boss is a different sentence than I wrote an email. Sorry, I wrote to my boss. Okay, so that's just interesting. Just notice that some action words are connected to a preposition or to an article plus noun. So I just wanted to show you that. See, so the action connected to these. And I showed you some examples. Okay, let's go to answering these questions. What things do you write every day or every week? A diary, a blog, a comment on social media? Maybe on social media, yeah? Every day you write a post or you respond to a post. On YouTube, a comment on YouTube. Yes, good. Yeah. So comment on a YouTube video. Yeah. On Twitter, yes, on Twitter. I don't use Twitter, but it sometimes it looks interesting. So you write a comment on Twitter. Yeah. Okay. So write an answer that's for you. Mine would be, yeah, on social media. What do you write about? If you were to make a post, what do you write about? The restaurant you went to, maybe with the food, or the place that you saw. Sorry, the sports. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe your movie. Does anyone write about a movie they watched? Maybe. Yes, like illustrations. Yeah. Yeah, drawings. Yeah. Ah, you mean more for like nature.
Nature.
Nature. Yeah. Yep. Write something about nature. Good. There's lots of things we can write about in our lives. Family. Some people write about their family. Yeah. Some people write about their faith. You know, that God, right? Their faith. Yeah. Drinks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's hundreds of things we can write about. Who do you often write to? Friends, maybe? Your partner, friends, your family. Your who? My enemy? Yeah. Send him death messages? Yeah. Do you send him death threats? I'm going to kill you. Yeah. If you do not. Yeah. So, okay, write whichever's for you the answer. How do you write to these people? By email, text message, social media, a letter? Does anyone write letters anymore? Social media. Social media. Yeah, we use that as a messaging. Which new words did you write down in your English class today? Who would like to tell me what new English word they learnt today? Lifelogging? The title of our good. Wrote, the verb to write in the past. Good. Yep. Okay, good. So I hope you write your answer. Let's read these comments and answer if they are for or against. So for means that this comment agrees with what was in the article. Against means it doesn't agree. So you can share photos with family and friends. For. So for the first one, I'll just put capital F. So for means it agrees with the article that you can share photos with family and friends. We read that in the article. People spend all their free time looking at their phones. Against. I think for lifelogging, that's true. If people are, it could be for, because that's why people would do social media and all that. They spend a lot of the time. It's not what you think, but which comments do you think agree with what's happening in the world today? Oh, we'll go to number 8. It's very strange. We'll make what's your opinion. So I'm against, but we'll do it as question 8, against. Fitness trackers make people do more exercise. I heard against. I heard some people actually don't, it doesn't really make them do more, but some people say it does. But again, what's your opinion? It's interesting and fun to look at your past. For. Sometimes people write bad things about others. Against, because that's not good. And historians, that means people who study the past, like history, people who study history can learn about people from their photos and videos. Sorry, for. Yeah. For means agree. Like if I'm for something, it means I agree. And if I'm against something, it means it's bad. I don't agree. So you can share photos with family and friends. I'm for that. People spend all their free time looking at their phones. I'm against that. Fitness trackers make people do more exercise. Yeah, it's hard. I'm for it, but I don't know if it really makes them do more. It's an opinion. It's interesting and fun to look at your past. Yes. Sometimes people write bad things about others. I'm against that. And historians can learn about people from their photos. For. Okay, now I'm going to do something a little different. So number 9 asks us to prepare a survey about life logging, asking like questions like we read before. How many photos of your life do you take every day? How many comments do you make a day? How many YouTube videos do you watch a day? How much time do you spend on social media? So we're going to do it a little bit different. So we've got a little bit of time. I'll just give you some examples. Which social media platform is your favorite? What are your photos mostly of? How much time do you spend on social media every day? So I'm going to do it a little bit different. I've given you the questions. You need to come up with your answers, and I'm going to go around and ask you. Okay, so for number 9, you're just going to follow, these questions here, which I've done for you. How much time do you spend on social media every day? So write the answer for you. Who do you send messages to the most? These are just some examples of answers. When do you use social media the most? In the morning, at night, before bed, before class, hopefully not during class. Where do you post your photos? Put your answer. When did you last post a comment? Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes to come up with your answers to those questions. And you can see I've put some examples of answers, but let's hear your answers. So I'll give you 5 minutes to prepare. Okay, so we have our questions about life logging and seven questions. So what I'm going to do is something a little bit different. So who would like to come up and share their answers to these questions? If not, I'll pick randomly. Wilda, you look ready. So you can come up, and this is how we're going to do it. So someone is going to pick one of the 7 and ask you. Okay, so come up. Yep. So I'll show you. Like, for example, so Wilda is starting. So if you would like to ask Wilda and have her respond to 4 questions, one of the 7 questions. And I would like to ask Wilda a question.
Wow. What are your photos most of?
What do you
Yeah.
What's that?
You.
You had your own question?
It is you. Such a long run, two.
In 20 minutes. Funny?
Yes.
Funny, you want?
Like, for readings? Readings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. When did you last post our comment?
When did you
Yesterday. Yes. Today. Today, yesterday.
I didn't.
Incident.
When did you
In your whole life.
Quando vai l'ultimo conversazione? What? I just no. Social media. Social media. Yes. L'incognito. L'incognito. Sì, infatti diciamo.
Message.
Say messages to my wife. Yeah. Yeah, Instagram because my wife is
Which social media platform is your favorite?
my platform favorite is Instagram. My favorite platform is Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Mira. No, Twitch. Twitch. No, Mira. I don't have no, I'm getting married. I am married. No, we can't. No, new friends. I like to meet. I love my life, bro.
Yes, good.
Time do you social media every day? More or less 3 hours.
Yeah, good. So
I spend more or less 3 hours because when I'm studying my work after and before and the after.
When do you post your photo?
Instagram. On Instagram. I post my photos on Instagram.
Yes.
Go on. Edward. Easy. When do you social media?
After class.
Okay. I use social media the most after class. Yeah.
After class. In class.
Before class.
Who do you most send messages to?
My family. Friends.
Yes.
That's it.
much time do you spend on search for Wikipedia?
5 hours.
Yes.
Then you said,
So,
one question.
so around.
Pick someone.
Pizza.
Thank you.
Interesante. No.
Awesome. Did you have a question?
What are your photos mostly of? Two.
What type of photo mostly of?
My photos mostly of with my family. Places.
My family and
Some places.
some places.
Some places.
Just,
When did you last post a comment?
full sentences.
Okay, I last post a comment.
Posted.
Post
Posted.
posted.
Yeah.
Posted. Okay, I last posted a comment 2 days ago.
I think someone.
Do
Take one question.
Conquest.
What's it? Second. One question. Second.
When do you post your last photo?
When did you post your last photo? I think you made that question up. When did you post your last photo? I think fast. Where did you
Is
post?
the numbers
Yes.
Instagram.
On Instagram.
When? When did you last post?
When yesterday. Yeah. It's a post. Repost the repost with the of my wife.
Repost.
Repost.
Post.
Yeah.
Post.
No. Repost the
Yes.
post the Instagram
Yes.
of my wife. Or them my
You reposted it.
yeah,
So
repost.
maybe on top of it.
Yeah.
You really posted it.
Yesterday.
First of all, what's the question?
How many photos do you post in the month?
Interesting. Photos, it's not on the list. How many photos do you post a month?
3 or 4.
3 or 4?
Yeah.
So, it's around or
Around. Around 3 or 4 photos. Yeah.
Good question. How's different? Then how many photos do you post a month? Thank you. Edward, take someone.
Ronald.
Hey, Ronan.
Correct. How many for the word?
Yes. How many photos do you have in your phone album?
On my Instagram is about
How many photos do you have?
Follow.
followers. I need to see. I don't know. I need to see. It's around 1,000. Oh, 400. More than 400.
It's more complicated. All of this is correct, but it's more complicated. Yeah. Good question. How many followers do you have? Oh, great. There's many platforms. How about the question? Which one? How many photos do you have in my album? In your phone?
My phone album, I don't know. On my no, 3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about for a group, not for WhatsApp. Don't all take it from me.
The photos.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Most of them are WhatsApp.
Yeah. About the groups. Yeah.
Most people send me photos.
Yeah.
When did you start in using in social media?
When did you start? Which one? If you get people to start visiting,
And when did you start using social media?
When I was young. Yeah. Important. About the coach. Yeah, is the first one.
right. I think we have time. One question. So, someone.
Will that? I don't really. Wait.
In translation, young.
Yes,
When I was young. Quando eu era jovem.
Entendi. É que você falou do Orkut. Orkut is my first platform with social media.
Wow. Yes, good question. What this app is like.
What?
Speak a word.
Writing. Yeah, sharing photos.
Yeah.
Make friends.
Como que é conhecer? Conhecer nossos.
Similar Instagram or
No. The father follow Facebook.
That was good. You had hard questions there. Okay, see you tomorrow, Ronan. Let's have a look because that's quite interesting. Orkut and Orkut was a platform in Brazil only. Was it in Brazil only? No, Orkut only Brazil. This app. Hmm. So it's hard to see it because it's not anymore.
It's like
It doesn't exist. What about this? Orkut.com. This is somebody writing about it. Okay, so interesting to talk about our lives, in social media, how much that we use it and what do we post the most and how many followers and really great question. So I was happy to hear that. Okay, so that's where we finish. And then with the next lesson, we're going to be looking at how was your evening. So we're going to be talking more about asking someone how was their night, how was their weekend, how was their evening. But now we're going to be using more adjectives to express how it was. So my weekend was amazing. My weekend was so relaxing. My weekend was beautiful. So now that's what we're going to be starting to do in the next lesson. Okay, so we'll continue then. Thanks, Jose.
Teacher, thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Actually, before you go, we've got a few minutes. Let's ask Jose some of these questions. So, Jose, would you like to
Study of Zoom. Study.
who would like to ask Jose one of the questions?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
One. My social media
that's okay. Actually, Jose will.
favorites
Yes.
is Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yes. So your favorite social media platform is Instagram and Facebook?
Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. What are your photos mostly of?
Oh, the places,
Many places.
regular beautiful places,
Yeah.
different countries and around the world.
Of different countries. Yeah.
Friends, food, animals,
And
rivers, stadiums, whatever.
perfect. And how much time do you spend on social media every day?
Oh, in the moment, 4 hours for day.
4 hours?
Yes,
Here
in
you
the
go.
moment.
See ya. About 4 hours?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am in a gap year. Normally in Colombia, it's no more time.
Yes. I don't know why the voice is not coming to the audio here. That's okay. Okay. Thank you, Jose. We will see you tomorrow.
Okay,
In class.
teacher.
Yes.
My test, the
Yes.
exam.
See ya, Clayton. Your test? Do you want me to tell you your mark? See ya, Sylvia.
Yes.
Yes.
I see.
Do you see it in
My test in the gram, on the nota.
yeah, did you see it?
Yes. One moment.
I'll leave for you tomorrow. You can see it. This is your
Okay.
96. Perfect mark.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, that's good.
Yes.
That's good. I'm happy.
It's
Full
good.
marks. And you're writing a little bit, but you'll see when I give it to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you.
Jose.
Thank you.
See you
Thank
tomorrow.
you, Sarah.
See
Thank
you.
you. Yes. This in the class. In
Yeah,
the classroom.
I know.
Okay.
The classroom. And for
Thank
now,
you.
bye, guys.
Bye.
Good night. Good night.